What is going on, guys? Greek Freak here, and in this video we're going to be talking about Derrick Rose and this future summer's free agency. Now, whenever we think about Derrick Rose, obviously we have to look back at what happened just the previous year, and of course what's happened to so far to happen for this year. Now, he's obviously had a great year as far as with the Timberwolves, coming off the bench, really just being one of the better bench players in the NBA this year. And whenever we look at the situation of what has happened, we now know the fact that his season is now going to be over with the Timberwolves, and many people are thinking it's another major injury or anything. It's not. It was an elbow injury that he ends up having to get removed in surgery, which in the incline for the Timberwolves, since they're not making the playoffs, they're going to rest 3 of their players basically off their injury and have them out for the rest of the season, which was only 10 games. And whenever we really look at this, we have to think about the situation of which he came from and where he's going from to where he is now. Now, whenever we of course think about it, we have to think about those terrible times at Cleveland, playing only 25 games in total, even with the transfer to the Timberwolves, and only scoring 8 points per game, 1.4 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. Now, the previous year before that, he was averaging around 17 points per game with the New York Knicks, and actually having a pretty decent year there as well. But once he went to Cleveland, which we saw with many players, that really just ended up ruining as far as their seasons and careers even sometimes. So whenever we look at this season, obviously a major change, playing 51 games, 18 points per game, 2.7 rebounds per game, and 4.3 assists per game. So as you just saw, he went up even one more point from his New York Knicks year, which was him being the starting point guard, and now with him being the backup, is even playing at an even better function. Now, of course, it's not just the fact that his scorings went up and his assists and rebounds, but his three-point shooting has been the main focus point, shooting 23.3% from the three-point line last season, shooting at a great 37% from the three-point line in this season. Starting off this year very hot from three, shooting around 50% to start the year. It just showed the fact that he definitely did work on his three-point game and adds his value to these franchises. Now, before, of course, the main concern was after that, those left, that's what was going to happen. Now, whenever we look at this, he's not only with him playing more games, he's also played more minutes per game, averaging around 11 more minutes per game from his previous year with the Cleveland. So whenever we think about this, he's played more games, more of that. And like I mentioned with this injury, this was an injury that they were going to make him sit out for, just due to the fact they're trying to lose out these last few games, trying to get a better draft position when it comes to this year's draft class. So whenever we think about that, we're in very big situations here. So this change that also has happened here is not just something that we see just in the regular season, but also we see his performance changing when it comes to bigger moments. And of course, along with the 50-point game that he had this year, we also have to, many people are forgetting what he had as far as the impact in last year's playoffs for the Timberwolves, even though they lost in 5 games. Now, if you can see here, 14.2 points per game, around 2 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and this was with shortcomings to the team, so basically a mid-year transfer. And yeah, that's not a lie right there. 70% from the three-point line and 51% from the field. So he was shooting very efficient, above and beyond any type of expectation that was going there. So it's not just the fact that he worked on this three-point shot beforehand. He had this, and really I just feel like it was the Cleveland situation, which I may make a video on as far as the changes that made for a lot of players. But I guess the real question right now is, what team do I think that he's going to go to as far as a good fit for him and for a team that's looking for him? Well, when we think about this, it's very simple. I think Derrick Rose is going to want to go to a team that is playoff bound, is a team that's around there, not really going to a team that's instant championship contender as far as that instantly. But I think the fact that that's really what he's looking for, and obviously a team that needs him. Now, one team that would need him would be the Indiana Pacers. When we think about Victor Oladipo with that leg injury that happened that ended his season very early into this season, we obviously know the fact that when you have an injury like that, this isn't something that you just come back from. You have to slowly come back to the game. So whenever it comes down to it, I think the fact that this is going to help them in many ways. And whenever we look at that, we got to think he may miss some of the beginning of the next season. And when he does come back, The reasons why this would be good for, and this isn't the case for the Indiana Pacers, it's an backup due to the injury that's happened. So you're having a great point guard coming into the place for it, but somebody that you know isn't just there to replace him, so it's not pressure on Victor Oladipo. They have a solid team, very depth-wise, and plays very well. And whenever we think about this, when he comes back, he's going to have most likely a minutes restriction when it comes to Victor Oladipo. So it's a situation that Derrick Rose can come back, take that backup role that we saw him playing at the Timberwolves, and really implement that there as well, and maybe in that situation slowly getting Victor Oladipo back into the shape that he needs to get into, where he was playing as probably one of the best two-way players in the NBA, even though many people don't even see that. I mean, his defense last year was tremendous, and it was very much not too bad off this year as well. So when we think about a move like this, I think the fact that the Pacers are a very good fit. Of course, there's other teams that could also need a player like Derrick Rose, and that Derrick Rose may be interested in as well. So I really would like to know what your guys' thoughts are on this, as far as what team you think he should go to. Obviously, he can stay with the Timberwolves, but I just don't see the Timberwolves sticking with what they're doing. I think that they're in the worst position, which is the middle of the pack situation, where you're getting those mid-lottery picks and not really taking high chances as far as getting either great talent or making the playoffs. So you're in that in-between stage, which means you're either going to drop talent to do that, or you're going to go all out in free agency and things such as that. And once they've added contracts to players like Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns, and others, I think the fact that makes it a lot harder to actually build off of and make that improvement. But guys, once again, what team do you think that Derrick Rose should go to as far as a fit for him and for a team in general? So I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are on that. And guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you leave a like and subscribe to be part of the Greek Army today. And as always, this is Sparta.